So Sam's going to take over here. She's going to talk about the program. She's going to give you the real goods about what goes on if you are a student at in the Office Admin program at St. Lawrence College.
So in first year, first semester, whether you're coming into fall or winter, you have, six or seven different courses that you have to take. The bookkeeping course is an introduction to accounting. So in that course, you kind of get that introductory first-hand knowledge. I know when I first came into the program, I thought, oh no, I have to do math. And it was actually a really fun way of doing math. So you do things like 10-column worksheets and ledgers, and you kind of understand the wording behind accounting, so revenue and expenses. Funky words like depreciation and amortization that I had no idea what they were before I went into the program. So that's what bookkeeping is. Then you take the Office Procedures 1, some of the things you do in there is PowerPoint presentations. You learn a lot about time management skills, but you also learn how to write a professional email, which you might not know how to do when you first come into the program, and you create a professional signature with your name and what program you're in, your phone number, your email, so that people can get in contact with you. And you do travel planning. So depending on where you're working, if you're working as an executive assistant to someone in a corporation, you might have to do travel planning for your boss. So that would include maybe airplane or train tickets, what hotel are they staying at, what's the best restaurants in the area that they should do and go to enjoy their overall experience. But then you do an introduction to Word. Word is 6 hours in length in that semester. It's the class that you're in the most. And it's just a beginner level Word. So it's okay if you don't have a lot of experience in Microsoft Office Suite programs, because you go very far in depth with those throughout this program. But in the introductory program, or in the introductory course, it's just that beginner level kind of overhand. So you're learning things like what is a ribbon in Word and what are command tabs, what do they each entail. You also set up your Word, so when you log into it first, it's nothing like what it will look like afterwards. Setting up your status bar, putting in rulers, and getting those page numbers and vertical page positioning, which are funky words, but you'll understand as soon as you come in. And you also do timed writing. So it's extremely important in the office administration field to be proficient in typing. I know I had a little bit of background in typing before I got into the program, but I also knew people who had like 15 words a minute when we started, and then by the end you're reaching those 55, 60 words per minute. So you start that off in Word in first semester, and you continue that through the entire program. We also have electronic spreadsheeting, which is Microsoft Excel. And you understand, just like Word, the different criterias that entails. So Excel is a book, and it has worksheets in it, and you kind of go from there. So it has terms like Word, like the formula bar, active cell, column letters, which all seem like foreign concepts now, but you'll become very familiar with once you're in the course. We also have a communications course, which is something that all of our students have to take. It's really great because it incorporates professional writing, grammar, which is a huge thing, especially when you're sending professional emails for a boss. Sometimes you're sending those emails for your boss, not just under your name, and you don't want to put a comma where it's not supposed to be, or have an incorrect spelling of a word, because that reflects poorly on your boss. So you learn all of that stuff in that course, as well as how to properly do citations for research and presentation skills. And then the last course you take in first semester is a general education course that we call Professional Effectiveness. It gives students information kind of on how to succeed in college and adult life. So things like creating a budget, networking, and we get interview panels from previous grads. So I have sat in on some of those. I had them when I was a student, and I thought that they were really great information to see where our grads go after they finish schooling here. Anything from KGH, which is Kingston General Hospital, it's Kingston Health Science Center now, to students who work at St. Lawrence like I do now. So it's really eye-opening and a great experience. So in first semester, you have an overall 21 hours a week of classes, but then just make sure that you are considering your homework time in that. In first year, you definitely have more homework than you do in second year, but don't let that scare you. It's a great way to figure out how you time manage well and how to organize. So just some tips and tricks for that is buying an agenda, a real paper agenda like you had to use in elementary school, and writing down when things are due, or using Outlook, which is a Microsoft suite, and using that digital calendar. But in second semester, we do Sage 50 accounting, which is kind of a lead on from bookkeeping. You do everything you did in bookkeeping, which you did on paper, but on a computer this semester. So you do office finances, and you're able to do all of that great bookkeeping and accounting skills that you learned, but on an actual program on a computer now, which is more often done in those types of offices. We also do office procedures too. So you go off of those things that you learned in first semester and learn more things. So office finances, the petty cash fund, which you might be involved in. You do postal services and shipping. So how do you properly do that? How can you courier things or use FedEx in a proper way that can get a client their information as soon as they need it, and properly scheduling. So whether it's for yourself or your boss, using those things like agendas or calendars in order to do that. We do intermediate word processing, so that's just our word, again, reflecting and building more on what we learned last semester. You go a little bit more in depth because it's intermediate rather than introduction. And electronic database management is Microsoft Access. So you create a company within Access and you learn things like queries and tables, and you go really far in depth with that. And it's a full semester of creating this company that you've designed yourself and using Access in order to do that. And then in writing for the office, we call that RIT 2. You do a lot of things that are great. So if you're only taking that 1-year program, that general program, it allows you to get a resume and a cover letter before you graduate. You do networking skills, so with your peers and individuals throughout the college, as well as mock interviews. So you have to sit one-on-one with the instructor and act like it's a formal interview. And it's a little bit scary, but it's great experience, especially if you are looking to, if you're getting a summertime job or if you're looking to get that 1-year certificate and go into work right away. What's also great is they set you up with a LinkedIn profile, which is extremely important to kind of be on the internet when there are employers searching you. So they don't want to see someone that has absolutely no social media. You're not on Facebook, you're not on Twitter, to be able to at least have that LinkedIn profile that's professional for them to see when they're searching you during that recruitment process is really great. And then we have that 2-week placement, which is at the end of March in second semester. And you can go really anywhere that has an office administrator and that is willing to take you. And it's just 18 hours a week in that semester, so 3 hours less than last semester, which is great. And then with the health services and legal, you do all of that fun stuff that I just talked about in the last 2 slides, all at the same time. So a little bit more hours a week, and online, but you end up with 2 diplomas at the end. So you have 2 specializations in office admin, and at convocation you actually get 2 separate diplomas rather than just the one. So consider that. Yeah,
That's awesome, Sam. Did you do that? Did you
I
do
did.
both?
Yeah,
And
I did.
did you
both.
find it really pretty heavy, or?
No, so I actually found in first year the homework is a lot heavier than in second year.
Okay.
Yeah, so in legal, you're doing a lot of stuff with programs on the computer in class that you can't take home. So you do all of that stuff in class,
Oh,
and it's
great.
your medical stuff you have to take home.
Okay. All right. I was just curious. How many, Kathy, on average, how many of your students do take both?
Oh, we usually have about 20 who take on the double option, we
Yep.
call it. And we're really proud of those students because they graduate with the double diploma.
Right.
And it gives them, it just opens other doors to them.
Right.
It gives them more options.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the placement component
Yes,
then?
one of the great things about the Office Admin program is that you do have an opportunity to go out on a work placement. In first semester, or in first year, second semester, you will go out on a work placement in March. And the students can go to any office that they choose to, except they can't go to the hospitals. And we recommend that they try not to go to a legal office of any kind. But lots of them go to the city, they go to bookkeeping businesses, accounting offices, they go to Queen's University, they go to St. Lawrence College. Any place that will take them in an office situation, they can go to. We help our students find placement. A lot of students worry about that. We have a lot of contacts, and so we can guide the students in the right way.
Sure.
If you come to our January intake, because we have a January intake, in our spring semester, your work placement will take place every Friday. So that's a definite.
So a
that
full
will
day.
happen. A full day on
Okay.
a Friday for 10 weeks. And so that's what they do. In second year, you have 2 2-week work placements. You will have one at the end of the fall semester, and then you have another one at the end of the winter semester. So after all is said and done, if you come to our 2-year program, you will have had 6 weeks of work placement.
And that's going to look great on a resume,
It
isn't
does
it?
look good on a resume.